Welcome back here to Court 1, Day 6 of the 4th CMAS Age Group World Championships for Underwater Hockey at the Hobart Aquatic Centre. We're counting down 30 seconds to go until the Under-19 women's game kicks off between New Zealand and Australia. The seedings at the moment, the list is way too far away. Thank you very much, Romy. The seedings here are New Zealand leading this division, having played 11 and won 11 with 111 goals for and 1 goal against. Well done, Kiwi ladies, for that excellent display. Australian ladies coming in at third at the moment, having played 10 and won 7, lost 2, having scored 45 goals. So you can see the girls have started. The Kiwis coming out of the blocks hard, getting met in the middle by the Australian team, but the Kiwis driving through the Aussie structure there. Oh, my apologies. I actually think I've got my colours mixed up. So the Australians are in black, the Kiwis are in white. The Kiwis in the light blue bathers, the Australians in the dark green bathers. I'm just used to seeing the Kiwis in black and white, but not this game. As you can see, the Kiwis have the puck underneath their sub-bench. And not only is it choice, but they are going to have to make a choice about where this puck is going to go. My apologies for that terrible joke. As the Australians again drive that left-hand near side wall. Kiwis doing a good job of absorbing the defensive or the attacking pressure and doing a lot of good defense at the moment. The refs have called it. It is a stick infringement against the Aussies, so I'll have to go back a couple of metres and the Kiwis are going to get a free puck just in front of their sub-bench area in their defensive half. It's going to be a very interesting game. Really, neither team would want to lose this one, having or just being on the precipice of the final series. So you can see the Kiwis sitting up with 2 forwards ahead, going for the 45 across court, getting met there by the Aussies as they straighten up and go on a nice little drive in numbers down the pool. The Australian defenders having a stream back to try and put some pressure on this big drive by the Kiwis that are taking it pretty much all the way to the centre channel. The Aussie girls just managed to get some purchase on that puck and shovel it out. It looks to me like the referee is saying stick infringement and a warning against that specific Australian player. I didn't catch the number, but what a massive drive by the Kiwis early on in this first half. And hats off to them. Tip of the hat, so to speak, for the Kiwi ladies. Just putting on a little bit of a show, laying down some stick candy in that pool as they take this free puck and come over to the left-hand side of their attacking trade. The Aussies doing a good job of defending it. The Kiwis trying to recycle that puck into the centre channel, and out the puck goes on a 45 as the referees call another infringement on the Aussies, this time for gloving. So, unfortunately, the Aussie girls will have to go back. That big drive they just went on is going to get reset, and the puck will be an advantage for the Kiwis. Just on the left-hand side of their attacking tray here. Kiwis being very good at set plays, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of creative juices they can get going and lay down in this court as we see the first 2.5 minutes of this game tick by. The puck goes just onto the back wall, and the Australians take it out to the far side there in their defensive corner on a good drive, just finding some space around the outside of the Kiwi structure. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these teams tries to take it off the wall first, as you can see them in pretty much the middle of the court there. Australians slowly but surely bringing it forward. The Kiwis, I think, initiating the movement over to the other side, going on a good swim. The Aussies picking up that puck and a nice little pullback, but unfortunately she got tagged as she made that movement and then got that puck back, and that's number 9, I believe, for Australia. Gabrielle Larson doing a couple of good movements there as the Kiwis regain possession and drive it into the centre of the court there on a nice little swim over the other side of the court. Joining me in the commentary box, I've got Dave, who's just looking around for another sheet that we're missing. You looking for a team list or what?
I was just the game list I put in here so we knew what games are coming up and about and things just go walkabout. But no, I've got all the team lists here, Stuart. Sorry a bit late joining you. Ding-dong match happening already, Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, it's still 0-0. The Kiwis getting a couple of good drives. The Australian girls doing a lot of good defense, as you can see them carrying out that as a nice pullback goes to turns into a flick to a waiting Australian forward. She decides to flick it back to another one of her teammates. It looks to me like it's going to be obstruction against the Aussies here, pointing out a specific player that was responsible for that, and it is going to be another advantage puck for the Kiwis here, Dave.
Yeah, that was number 12, Maggie Biffin, the vice captain of the Australian team, as the Kiwis make a number of changes to come flying in for the puck. They do the traditional thing about having all the players behind the play, but that gives them the maximum number of players behind the puck, and that doesn't give them advancements, but they all push in together, and they're all gathered on that tray lip and recycling it, and the Australians trying desperately to clear. I think she came out a bit too wide. They're trying to clear it on the 45 rather than to the safety zone. But fortunate for the Australians at this time, Stuart, the Kiwis did a bit of obstruction, barging, or whatever the referee saw, and are being asked to put back, and the Australians get a somewhat of a breather, Stuart.
Yeah, the Aussies getting a little bit of pressure relief here as they take an advantage puck in their defensive half and just electing to drive it straight at the New Zealand structure there. A fierce contest going down pretty much in the middle of the court. You can see the Aussies driving the right-hand side now, or actually chasing the Kiwis that are driving their left-hand side, the far side of the court, as the Kiwis get a nice little 45 drive by the looks of it here. Back into the centre channel, probably a little bit far out to be able to score from there unless the Australians make some pretty critical defensive errors here, Dave. And just as I say that, they really put a nice push all the way to the tray. A couple of really good flicks, and I believe that's goal number 1, unless the referees have seen an infringement there for the New Zealand team, Dave.
Yeah, no, they haven't, and it's a goal for New Zealand. And you're right, you are there, Stuart. They isolated the numbers of the players as the referee signals to number 6 of the Australian team, Madeline Laurie, for a serious obstruction, and it was a big foul. So the next time she gets one, the deck people will inform the chief referee, and she'll be sitting out. But an excellent goal, isolated the Australian backline, drew in the players 2-on-1, and the two of them overwhelmed the back last defender there. Classic move, very traditional type thing, what we see in underwater hockey. Obviously, the Kiwis did it to perfection by drawing and releasing their players, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right, as I believe that goal went to Georgia Coughlin. I'm pretty sure she's the captain of the under-19 New Zealand team. So goal number 1 to Georgia, well done. As the play continues, the Kiwis got another advantage puck there, and Aussies all down to defend this movement by the Kiwis. The puck gets driven out by the Kiwis to the near side wall and then recycled back into the centre channel. The Aussies regaining possession as the buzzer goes. Number 7 from Australia there, just having to leave the puck on the bottom. Lily Ladd McGovern having to leave the puck there on the bottom as the buzzer goes. And another advantage puck to the Kiwis at the moment here, Dave.
Yeah, that was a break by the Australians on the free puck. This is sort of, come on, girls. You can't do those standard breaks on the thing. One break, warning, and the next one you start sitting in the sin bin, as the Kiwis drive straight through the defense and left very exposed. The backline, the cover defense was somewhat square, and unfortunately, I think she's it's a gloving by the Kiwis on that drive. So one of the 3 driving on that lone Australian defender has bounced the puck off her glove accidentally, and she's paid the price for that one. This Australian get another let off deep in their end.
Show us the live chat, mate. Yeah, that's right. The Aussies getting let out of jail free there for sure, because that puck was all the way on the corner of the tray, and the Kiwis looking very dangerous, basically just about to score that goal. So the referees are giving the Aussies a bit of a reprieve as the play goes over to the far side defensive area for the Aussies, and again the Kiwis start to push a fairly strong attacking advantage as Franco McLeod says Argentina, and then greetings from Argentina. Hello, Franco, and thank you very much for tuning in to this live stream of the Aussie versus Kiwis under-19 ladies game there. Just to let you know, Franco, the Argentinians are playing at 12:50 Australian Eastern Standard Time, so please tune into that. That's actually in the next game, so in about 40 minutes, the Argentinians will be lining up against the Canadians for the men's under-23 game. We'll see the play continuing on the near side wall here. A fierce battle going on here between the Aussies and the Kiwis, Dave.
Yeah, it's a ding-dong, and things are happening in the pool. Everyone's testing their edges. We see number 9, I think that's Gabby from the Australia team, a local girl here in Hobart who's making her debut at the Worlds, making a lovely drive up there and putting some pressure on the Kiwis. It's end-to-end actions. I think the Kiwis, since I joined you, Stuart, are somewhat dominating the play, as we see again an isolation play. But unfortunately, that Kiwi this time, and that's rare to see one Kiwi swimming, and that just shows the ferocity of this game, that where one or two players become isolated. And as I speak, the Kiwis get their numbers down, but so do the Australian defense, and rip it out and clear it. That's a much better clearance, but unfortunately she was rolled off, didn't swim fast enough to get away from the Kiwi and far enough away from her, as the Australians are trying to regroup on the far wall. They brought it quickly to the center channel, but again gobbled up by the Kiwi defense, and they're looking to feed it in, but I'm afraid that's a far too flick, and the Australians once again try to clear it in the middle of the pool, Stuart.
Yeah, so I mean, what I'm seeing is the Aussies are definitely looking for the space, to go on some big swims. The Kiwis are repetitively establishing their ability to find some space in between the Australian structure and really drive that puck hard down the pool into their attacking area. So you can see the Aussies picking it up there, and the buzzer going again. But the Kiwis repetitively at the moment managing to find or managing to make much bigger swims, by one player. They don't even need a couple of players around the puck to do it at the moment. So they're putting a lot of pressure on the Australian defence in this first half there, Dave.
Yeah, and a timeout called by the Australian coach Chris Windman there from West Australia down in Margaret River, or is he in Bunbury? I think he's in Bunbury, and it's just about an opportunity to give the girls a break and give them some words of encouragement to say, now, I'm not sure what was going on. It was he wasn't sure whether the timeout was called. And he's circling around, looking around, but 30 seconds gone by. Chris, get focused on the girls. And he's back there talking to the girls, and the Australian team needs to regroup themselves, Stuart, under a bit of pressure. The New Zealand are 1 goal up, but that's only 1 goal early in this game. And by the looks of things, we have about 5 minutes left to go in the first half. And I'd say that about 80% of the game has been played on the Australian half. The Australians need to regroup and string a few passes together and work as a group, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. As you see this time out from the Australians just drawing to a close, the Kiwis kicking this competition off with their advantage puck. They go for a nice little flick, pretty much straight down the line, which is met immediately by the Aussie girls. They drive it out to the right-hand side, but the Kiwis getting that possession back on a big sort of multi-number drive all the way onto the tray of the Aussie girls. And unfortunately this time it looks like it's going to be goal number 2 for the Kiwis. Just letting those Kiwis dictate the play a little bit too easily there, the Australian girls. So they really need to sort of try and assert their dominance. But, actually, as I say that, the referees have called a gloving infringement on the Kiwis, so let out of jail scot-free there, Dave.
Absolutely. I don't know what they saw, but they saw something because they're right there on the play and pulled it up. I must say the Australian defense looked absolutely shaky there. They actually didn't clear the puck into a safe zone. They seemed to clear it right back into the, I'll use the language, into where all the melee was, and in the middle of the pool. I think the Australians need to, not hesitate on this and get the puck and get it into out of that danger zone, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. As we can see, the Aussies throwing down some stick candy there on the bottom of the pool. And a nice little hello to PK Pat Kelly, who's letting us know that Chris, M, Natalie, Lily are all from Margaret River. So there's a large Margaret River contingent in this under-19 ladies Australian team, as the Kiwis have an infringement against them for a stick infringement. So the Aussies will get an advantage puck just over halfway for those girls, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of attacking momentum the Australian girls can establish in the last 3.5 minutes of this first half, Dave.
Yeah, and again, it wasn't very concisive move. She put the puck in, drew up, looking for something to happen, and you're not going to draw the Kiwis in on that. You got to make a decisive decision. So I guess that's something that the halftime the coach will have to review on their attacking format, because that format wasn't very convincing. They sort of got to, in my opinion, they need to drive as a group and be all consolidated on the same thought in mind. I know you can't talk underwater, but that's why we train and have camps together. As the Kiwis press for another goal, and it's being repelled by the first effort, but unfortunately the third effort by 2 Kiwis had just outnumbered the Australians, and I see a goal being signaled. And I'm not seeing the number because the referee, we're seeing number 12 from New Zealand, and that's Olivia Dawn. Olivia Don, number 12 for New Zealand's popped in the second goal for Australia, and it was just a matter of time on that one, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. So goal number 2, is that right, for New Zealand, or goal number 3? Goal number 2.
Yeah, 2. Remember, we had the one disallowed,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
we thought was a goal in, but the referee saw something different.
Yeah, so good attacking movement, like a really good team drive there by the Kiwis, putting a lot of pressure on the Aussie girls in defence, and unfortunately they just didn't have the answers as another referee infringement is called. Andy Pride tuning in, looks like from across the ditch in New Zealand, saying good close game. Or maybe Andy is actually from Australia, but he must have watched the under-19 ladies play last night late, because he's saying good close game, and it doesn't look like we will hear Whitney today, smiley face. And I don't know, mate. I'm not going to say never say never. There's always room for Whitney, in my opinion, but it doesn't look like the New Zealand girls will get 14 goals up against the Aussies in this particular game there, Dave.
No, and Stuart, I think I'd like to clarify to make sure Andy hears this. Is that you didn't actually set a number. You said a number of goals. You didn't really actually set a number. So 14 was just the advantage. Or did you set the bar at 14?
Yeah, I said 14.
Oh, you did? Well,
Yeah,
I apologize
specifically.
for that.
And
it
definitively.
is a lot night, and a few games have gone by
Yeah, no,
already.
it's fine.
Okay, so 14. Is that today's number for you?
That's the number for the rest of the comp.
That's the number for the rest of the comp.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. As we have a timeout.
And it's goal difference. It's not just amount of goals.
Goal difference.
Goal difference. It's got to be
So we
14
can be
goals
20,
difference
24,
between.
and it's still Whitney will come out.
20-6, Whitney will be played. Now, well,
Is
not
it
necessarily Whitney.
Okay.
It will be a song of,
We're taking
of
requests.
appropriate of appropriate quality dictated by me.
Yeah, that's right. We did get to it's your selection list, and there was a bit of chanter between. I didn't really like your full song list, and you took offense to that. But I like some of your music. I like Whitney, don't you? I'm a Whitney's fan.
I was surprised, and don't try and backpedal now, mate. You said you didn't like my song selections at all. I was surprised and offended. And, I am going to carry this grudge for quite some time as we see the girls continuing this competition. Someone's been called up for a stick infringement. It looks like it's going to be Kiwi lass going to spend a minute in the bin. She'll have to go and do the penguin walk in her Najad fins to those sin bin seats. Luckily, she's wearing those Najad fins there, Dave, because the penguin walk and the reverse penguin is quite easy on the side of the pool there if you've got those little fins on.
Yeah, it looks like the vice captain. Oh no, sorry, I take that back. It's Grace Driscoll, number 7, and she did it quite quickly. She just jumped up, slid up. I think we have to move the chairs back because we need to see more penguin walking because the chairs are far too close to the edge. She just stood up, sat down. That's just not on, Stuart.
Yeah, you can't show the prowess of the Najade Finns. The Australians go on a nice little attacking drive here, and they're met on the back wall by the Kiwi defence. You can't show the prowess of those Najade Finns on the pool deck without having the chairs far enough away to be able to do a little bit of a penguin walk there, Dave.
Yeah, as the Australian, you're absolutely right, Stuart. So I'll fix that at halftime. I'll run out there. I know you're in the captain's chair, so I'll make sure I'm at your beck and call. I'll go out there and move the chairs myself. As the Australians tried to make a drive out of the corner, as the Kiwis drove it into the corner to delay the time of the penalty as it looks like Grace is getting ready to get back in. But the Australians tried to run a 45, but the Kiwis were all over that and driven it deep into the Australians' end and looking to capitalize on that. And the momentum is shift to the Kiwis again because they're now back up to full strength, and the game is just going end to end. But I still think the New Zealanders are capitalizing majority of the play, Stuart, as I think we've drawn to halftime with a 2-0 lead for New Zealand, Stuart.
Yeah, we have had halftime called. There will be a 3-minute break as the players swap ends. And, a little bit of a recap of the first half. The Kiwis definitely stamping their small, minuscule, fluffy, flightless bird dominance on this game in the first half there, Dave.
Yeah, but I think it's worth noting that the ladies from last night have gotten rid of their milk crate. They have replaced it with a big yellow bin with a ring of life-saving around it. Oh, no,
that's Australians. No, the milk crate's still there.
The milk crate.
Broken promises given by the under-19 Kiwi ladies and not delivered.
No, they haven't. They
promised us they were going to go to Kmart.
Sarah Wilson, number 8.
Hunt that girl down and ask her why she lied yesterday.
Yeah, she lied. She said she was going to go to Kmart early this morning and grab it and done it. No, she's lied. I apologize to our Australian viewers that I was given that prowess of the Australian one. not so fluffy, not so but it is a different water bottle. And the disrespect is also being played yet again for both teams this time, Stuart. They're both
that's
left in
right.
the
I mean,
bin.
the Australians are letting themselves down. They've obviously sort of like gone half the way there with a bit of a there's still like an unimpressive pool noodle wrapped around a bit of a Bunnings basket type setup, and maybe they've stolen one of their sort of vegetable or apple type holders from their parents back at home. But again, they're just letting themselves down. Not really showing the leadership required to really assert their dominance on this competition. Obviously, the Kiwis being the front runners in the under-19 girls division, but they'd certainly be performing a lot better if to be quite frank, if their coach grew a massive beard and if they got a floaty animal carrying their water bottles around.
I think you're throwing a lot of fragment material out there, Stuart, and I think you're laying down some good challenges, and I think we'll question them. We'll question them we won't focus on the game of the girls. We'll get down to the nitty gritty during after the game and interviews with them, as the Australian coach is pointing and gesturing in a number of places to make sure the girls lift their game. And I think if they want to get back in this game, they have to string a few attacking moves and get working together. Would you say that's the same from your point of view, Stuart?
Yeah, he's certainly pointing around the court and gesticulating about, look, I want you to take the puck there, and then I want you to take the puck over there, and then I want you to do this with that thing. And, so maybe he's talking specifically about some very handy kind of stick candy that the girls can lay down in the court. But I don't know. I mean, it's always a little bit hard to know what kind of genius that Chris Wenham is applying in there. But you can see him just sort of casually doing his little frog swim over to his coach area, and so I'm sure there's some nuggets of gold that he's given to the Aussie girls, and it's going to be interesting to see how this second half plays out.
Yeah,
as the competitors swim into the puck there, Dave.
Yeah, as it begins, I sort of was watching over at the New Zealand coach and looking at what she was providing the girls. I think she was throwing some bouquet, some fragrance of some good positive vibes and lovely words to the girls, but she said it's still got another half to go, and we still only on 2 goals up with that sort of approach there, Stuart.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she was cracking a few cans of spates or, a spate of advice, like who knows. Like definitely a group of things. Maybe she was making a few choices or doing a few sweet Asbrews, all of that is possible from the Kiwis at this particular juncture there, Dave.
Yeah, and again, the Australians starting out very strongly, trying to press home and try to knock back at least one of these goals straight away. I think if there are going to be any chance in this game, they got to put some early pressure on the Kiwis, which we're actually seeing happening, and it's it's causing the Kiwis to sort of rattle their back line, and the Australians got to keep this pressure on and keep their numbers on. But the Kiwis, they found one of their outlets and they moved it wide, but to get to the puck, it was pretty close. There was an Australian hot on that Kiwis' tail there.
Yeah, that's right. And, as the Kiwis drive down the pool on a nice little swim and the buzzer goes, I'd just like to mention that there's one other thing that these two teams could get sorted. It is specifically for their coaches and their support staff in the water. Interestingly, the South African teams, all the coaches have these little tight front zip chesty vests. They're in the colours of the South African flag, and they're sporting those things. And, they can have the zip halfway. They can have it all the way down to the bottom. They can have a little bit of an underhang coming out the bottom. They can have the zip all the way up. But interestingly enough, none of the other countries have done that. And I'd like to see those little tight chesties, sort of short sleeve things, getting around the pool a little bit more, Dave.
Would you now? The Australian ones are a full rashy, so they don't have the zip. Maybe we can talk to one of our major sponsors, the Vertex, and see if they can put in the zips. I know I've sort of looking at one of those for our trip to Hawaii later on in September, and I've spoken to our Vertex supports person about his design as the Kiwis, and that looks like our favorite girl from last night. And that's one of the
Speedster.
Pound Speedster. Was that Phoenix or was that Paris?
No, that was Paris, Speedster number 11, and she was laying down some lightning strikes in the middle of the pool there, just putting on a bit of a speed show for all of us. I got quite excited. As soon as she picks up the puck, you can see that very specific Paris-style aggressive kicking action just going straight down the court there, Dave.
Yeah, I thought her twin or her sister, they were very, very close because I've seen them swimming at that breakneck speed side by side, and they're almost in unison. The amount of revolutions that they push their Najase fins to get them up to that breakneck speed or that Phoenix burn-off speed that Phoenix have in Paris usually goes right beside her. As we see the Australians being forced back into the Australians are putting the pressure on the Kiwis continually in this early half, and they need to make something happen, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's down to the captain, or the VC, I should say. Number 12 for Australia, Maggie Biffin, just to chuck a little bit of biff in this court and really get a bit of fight going with her girls. As you can see them trying to drive a nice 45. The Kiwis pretty much onto it. They get an attempted release pass, but the Australian opposition players swoop onto that puck and regain possession. A nice little flick into the centre channel, contested unfortunately for the Aussies, as the Kiwis regain possession and go for a nice little team swim basically down the centre of the court there, Dave.
Yeah, I was surprised that flick never came off, but I guess it was a bit too premature. And as we see the Kiwis trying to drive in numbers, and the Australian defence is caught a bit flat, but here comes their cover defence. But again, there's 2-3 Kiwis in the way. And unfortunately, because of the pressure the Australians were putting on, but the game is still playing on. Obviously, the referees didn't see that. Obviously, they didn't see it go through the clear volumes. But I can tell you, both the referees were there, and he was there with his little nage fins on too, Stuart.
Well, mate, I don't think that puck actually went in the tray. It definitely did not touch the tray. I think the stick knocked the puck out. I'm not sure if the puck travelled through the volume of the goal scoring area of the goal or not, but obviously in this case the referees went no. The door is shut. Come back next time, Kiwis.
Yeah, but the Australians have been asked to defend their goal. We got a couple of subs coming in for the Kiwis to put some fresh players in against the Australian backline. And you're absolutely right, Stuart. The referees were right there. Obviously from our camera angles, which are a bit distorted from a bit of the sunlight still in Hobart that's glistening on the pool deck, that we can't make out the real subtle differences between the white and the yellow. There is a very clear, distinctive line between the goal tray and the goal bin and the and the yellow goal scoring area. So the referees were right there, and obviously they made the right call in this case.
Yeah, so you can see the Aussies getting pulled up for a breaking infringement there, as the refs have a little bit of a reference on the side of the pool. It looks to me like the chief ref is going to, or the pool deck ref is going to throw one of the Aussie ladies out. They've probably already been warned for breaking in this game, so they are going to go in the bin. We're just waiting to see the sin bin. A little bit of a penguin walk in some Najade fins. There you go. Front penguin walk all the way to that far seat, and she had no problems of carrying that out with those Najade fins there. Number 8 for Australia, Jessica Cohen, going to spend a minute in there for a break, Dave, as the Aussies defend this good push by the Kiwis.
Yeah, it was a good defensive play. The Kiwis came down with one of their set plays, but the Australians were up to the task. Jess is one of our homegrown heroes. She's a local. If you remember, Stuart, we interviewed her on the couch in, I think it was episode 2. Or episode 3. No, it was episode 3. We had the homegrown hero with Jess. The first one was Liv Sanderson. She's a local Australian girl in Hobart, a swimmer background, if you remember her. But she did do the dance really well there, Stuart. So I think she gets full marks for that one. What do you say?
Yeah, full marks. And I really like the fact that, she decided not to go to the near seat. She went to the far one. Penguin walked over, as you can see. Little sort of penguin shuffle reverse displayed by the Kiwi lady there as she gets thrown out for a stick infringement for 1 minute. I'm just waiting to see the number.
That's one of our girls, Paris.
Number
I got number
10,
11.
I think.
No, I got number. I'm looking right here.
Oh, right,
now.
number 11,
That's
Paris.
Our girl, Paris.
Paris, the lightning rod, Henare or Henna. My apologies, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Paris, but I can certainly say your first name. And here we go. The Kiwis have called a timeout with 8 minutes 40 remaining in the second half. Kiwis leading the Aussies 2-0 in a very tight match up until this point, Dave.
Oh, absolutely, and a big shout-out back to our friend Andy Pride, who was waiting to hear Whitney, but it doesn't look like, Stuart, you're going to have to pull her out or an appropriate music. And thanks for watching, Andy. I really appreciate the thing, and I'm glad you're liking our commentary. Calling the game play-by-play can be a bit stifling, and Stuart, the captain of us, sort of said, guys, let's do a bit of freestyling. And also we're laying out a few challenges to these teams, particularly the ladies and the guys, because the guys have totally ignored the fact of they have no imagination in terms of their milk crates from our local produce areas, and I know the people I met yesterday in the Woolies shopping were saying we're sending people to the pool to have a look at those crates, so you better hide them, boys.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you got to be careful when you decide to pilfer, souvenir, or otherwise steal milk crates. especially if you don't have the permission of the local shops in Hobart, because I tell you what, there's a zero tolerance for that kind of thing around here, Dave.
There absolutely is. The Australians go back to full strength, and Jess Cohen, number 8, joins the team. And the Australians will have probably about 20, 30 seconds worth of a person advantage up on the Kiwis, and see if they can do something about it. But I must say, Stuart, over the number of days I've seen teams with 5 players, and they seem to dominate the pool. And it must be a mental capacity things for our juniors, because I have not yet seen a team with 6 really dominate and come up with the goods. In fact, it's always been the other way around. I'm not sure what's going on, though.
Yeah, it's almost like the team with 6 just sort of overextends because they know they've got the numerical advantage on the team with 5, and then the team with 5 just kind of picks up the rack, knowing that they're one person down. I don't know. It's a weird reality of the sport of underwater hockey that a lot of teams with 5 versus 6 just do a lot better than they were doing with 6 before. So very strange. I don't really have the answer as to why. As we see the Aussie girls going a nice little left-hand swim down that far side. The Kiwis very quick to counter-attack. Nice little knockdown there by the Australians as the puck comes. Well, looks to me like they're trying to drive it out to the near side here, but they get met and turned around by the Kiwi ladies in the centre of the pool. And again, this play is playing out on that far side of the court. The Aussies with a bit of an advantage here on a nice little drive down the pool, not finding any massive amount of free space here as they're tagged this whole way by a very energetic Kiwi team today, Dave.
Yeah, the Kiwis came back to full strength and put a bit of a push on against the Australians, but the Australians have met that challenge and drive the Kiwis back into their end. This is a really tight tussle. It's an end-to-end action. It's in the second half. It was sort of dominated by the Kiwis, but this time I see the play has been on the Kiwis' back foot, and it's starting to show in the fouls. This call was called because of the pressure the Australians put on the Kiwis, and they made a small mistake, and they're being asked to defend a free puck as the Australians try to make a drive, but the Kiwis, and I think that's one of the differences I noticed is the Kiwis clear it straight into the corner and have no fear to go in there, where the Australians have a tendency to clear it out the middle as the Australians, number 8, Jess Cohen, tries to make a lovely curl and drive it up on the wall, but she was met just haplessly against the Kiwis, and we have another play as it looked like number 7, Lily Ladden Governor tried to make a drive, but unfortunately the Australians been asked to move back the 3 meters, and the Kiwis will take possession of the puck for at least the start of the play, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. Again, this fierce competition continues as you see the play is in just over the attacking halfway line for the Aussie ladies. Anyone's puck at the moment, sort of possession. A nice little low percentage back flick there by one of the Australian girls as the Kiwis take good possession and go for a drive down the near side wall. Met on the near side wall quite quickly, though, by the Aussie defenders as they get that puck into the centre channel, rock and roll over there and lay down some quality stick candy, and then the Kiwis come back and put down some of their own stick candy just after that, Dave.
Yeah, that stick candy is just getting way out of control on the play. The Australians, I don't know what they're doing. They seem to hesitate in the middle of the pool rather than trying to clear it and link up with people. But as we speak, we have the Australians have been fouled on the things with that extreme pressure by probably not exploiting the fact that their stick candy was actually working in their advantage, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. As the Kiwis get an advantage puck, the Australians in deep defence. They're going to have to be careful not to break here as the Kiwis drive a 45 of the tray. Very good at set plays, the Kiwis, as you can see them pressing an advantage all the way up to the corner of the tray. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Aussies can actually keep this out. They are at the contest. The puck goes again onto the side of the goals. The Kiwis recycle the puck back around the D, and the Aussies are desperately trying to keep this puck out. The Kiwis attacking around the other side now. A very nice attacking move there by the Kiwi girls, and I do believe that this is going to be goal number 3 for the Kiwis. That is confirmed. It's goal number 3 for number 8.
It's Phoenix. Well, that's a rare goal for her. She actually turned and launched a lovely flicks into the pool. Other than we're used to seeing her burning up the court with leaving everyone in their dust, but this time she was strong on the bottom and turned in a nice tight curl and launched it towards the goal tray and caught the Australian girls missing and trying to knock down that play. And it's now the first goal of the second half has been put in, and we only have 4 minutes to go, Stuart, and it's 3-0. The Australians will have to pull every stop up, risk it, and take the advantage and try to ensure that they get on top of the Kiwis straight away. And unfortunately, the Kiwis have smelled blood in the water, and they're driving in massive numbers, but the Australians are quick in defense and rotate through. Oh, gee, I'm not sure why she left the play, because the play was coming straight at her. But obviously, we look like we have another goal, and that the Kiwis certainly smell blood, or they want to hear Whitney again.
Yeah, maybe they're just going for a last-ditch effort for Whitney Houston, but that's goal number 4 for the Kiwis. They're really starting to assert their dominance on this game with just over 3 minutes remaining. The Aussie girls solidly on the back foot at the moment, and they're going to have to come up with something very special to get a couple of goals on the board in this game. There is only 3 minutes to go, and I think there is a timeout being called by the Aussie coach here, Chris Wenham, as he swims over to his ladies. So each team will have a minute to suck it up, but it's going to be unlikely that the Aussie girls will be able to peg this one back, Dave.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes. It's not impossible, but it's really extremely rare with 3 minutes left.
So I have a question while I've got a little bit of time. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Facebook post by the officials here at the tournament, and it's about team support people. Clarification, notice number 1, 17th of July 2017. The secondary support person that is allowed in the water must remain behind the sub-bench. The support person must remain behind the sub-bench during the entire match. In brackets, they cannot enter the court area at any time. How would you read that particular line there, Dave? Do you think that they could enter the court during the game?
During the game,
Yeah.
It says at any time.
Yeah. What would you say the answer to that question is that I just asked you? Can they enter the court?
They can't enter the court of play.
At any time,
No,
right?
at any
Because that's
time.
what the words say,
Yeah,
and we
that's correct.
all speak English
That's
in
right.
Australia. Well,
That's
I've got a little clarification here by Rachel Arbuckle, who's one of the Kiwi ladies joining this lovely Kiwi team here, and she says, and I quote, "Just checking if the secondary support person is allowed to enter the court area during half time or not?" Question mark.
Well, that's at any time. So obviously it's a different language, and so we'll clarify it for it.
Yeah.
I think at any time you're not allowed to go anywhere into the court of play, but you
Yeah.
can stay directly behind the sub bench.
Yeah, I think it must be a little bit lost in translation, a little bit of Aussie English versus Kiwi English confusion there. But
But the rules are written in the language of
the Queen's
grandfather.
the Queen's tongue.
language.
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
So it has nothing to do with
No,
confusion.
well, I think maybe when they read it with a bit of an Australian accent, they just got a bit confused. I don't know.
Kiwi accent, surely.
Well, possibly yes, but I'm glad that we could clarify that particular contentious issue here today, Dave.
I'm glad we have, Stuart, because I think
Because
there are a number of people want
any time, or in other words, at no time, means never.
Yeah, as soon as you enter the pool, and that's the full pool, not just the 25 by 15. You cannot enter the playing areas. As the Kiwis look like they've put in their 5th goal with and I'm getting the score, and everyone's looking. I've
Number
got
1 or number
4.
2?
I got number 4 or number 3.
Oh, God knows who that was.
Yeah,
Very
I think
good goal
it was the
there.
captain, vice captain, and but again.
Yeah, let's just give it to Charlotte. Let's just go
Charlotte.
Boric.
I like Charlotte. She's
Yeah.
vice captain. She
Charlotte's
did a little
nice
dance
name,
for
and-
us.
yeah,
not
she's
too
a lovely
good, but
person, actually.
Yeah. No,
I like
agree.
her, so let's give her that goal. Number 5 for the Kiwis with just under a minute and a half remaining. The Kiwis starting to put on a show. Lots of stick candy going down range here by the Kiwis.
Yeah.
The Australians are having to eat a lot of that candy in the pool there, Dave. And unfortunately for the Kiwis, they're not going to get any Whitney Houston today, but they have definitely dominated this second half in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, all points towards the Kiwi girls, and they're starting to smell roses and the fragrance that they're presuming out there with the game that they're doing here. The Australians, unfortunately, their fragrance is a bit sour today, and the Kiwi girls are all a bit roses, I'm afraid, Stuart. As
they are.
As the coach is already celebrating with a little bit of Google dance there. I think that was Coach Leetta there, Jackson, doing a bit of a jig for you, Stuart.
Letitia, I think she might have been blowing some victory bubbles.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, under the water.
They weren't.
30 seconds to go.
30
She's already
seconds.
blowing those victory bubbles under there. I'd like to see a few victory bubbles going down.
Yeah, I think
Or
she was
coming
trying
up,
to do
I
a
should
penguin
say.
walk on the bottom of the pool with her nage fins definitely there.
Closely
Stuart.
followed by penguin walk, exactly, as the referee's calling infringement. This one's going to go against the Kiwis for a little bit of a stick infringement. No big deal as we count down the last 20 seconds of this second half.
Yeah, 21 seconds to be exact, Stuart. You know I like numbers, but the Australian girls aren't looking too dejected, but I'm sure they're disappointed with a 5-0.
Yeah, that's right. There's 15 seconds remaining. Kiwis doing a nice little defensive drive here, changing the angle and going straight back into the centre of the court, which is an interesting place for them to take it in their defensive half. But didn't work out too bad as the Aussies regain possession. The buzzer goes again. Kiwis getting this infringement. There's a lazy little stick infringement signal is given by the Colombian ref Parra there. He just sort of like lazily sort of lolled his wrist over his arm. A very nice technique there. There's 6 seconds remaining in the second half. The Kiwis are going to take this game out. Victory bubbles for everyone for the Kiwis. 5 versus 0 against the Aussie ladies. A very good competition by both teams. Commiserations from us here at the commentary box for the Australian ladies going down 0-5. A very heartfelt congratulations as Dave says goodbye to us in the commentary box. See you, Dave.
Yeah, look, Stuart, I gotta go back and check my emails for work, and I'll be coming back about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So,
but before you do that, you're going to go ask some serious questions.
I'm going to go grab Sarah, who promised me she would go to Kmart and fix it up for us. But I'm going to go ask her the serious question before I leave.
Good.
That's more important to me.
Okay.
And I'll see what she has to say. Thanks, Stuart. Right. Always a pleasure working with you, buddy. And I'm glad everyone's enjoying our talk, and I look forward to many more with you, buddy.
Thanks, mate. See you later. Hopefully we'll get a couple of these good competitors on the microphone to give us a bit of competitive perspective on this game. The Kiwis taking this one out 5-0, so maintaining their stranglehold on this competition. It is very close, though, between the top teams in the under-19 girls division, so it will be interesting to see how these teams line up if they come up against each other in the finals. We've got 10 minutes remaining until the next game kicks off here in Court 1 on day 6 of the 4th CMS Age Group World Championships here in Hobart, Tasmania. It's in 10 minutes. Men's 23 Canadians versus the men's 23 Argentinians going to be in this court. And switching to poolside now, and thank you very much for listening, everyone. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm trying to find Sarah. Is Sarah over there? Is Sarah number 8? Sarah. Yeah, where is she? Is she in the water today? You can come join me as well. You can come join me as well. Come on. Sarah, come over here. Sarah. I'm just signaling for Sarah to come join me, but number 13 is going to come join me. And I think the Australian number 1, I'll do the Kiwis first, and then we'll get started. I'm asking Sarah to come over here. Sorry, introduce yourself.
I'm Talia.
Talia, look, I'm sorry to make your spotlight, but Sarah promised me last night you would sort out your water bottle dream, and I just want to ask what the earth is going on, because she's just failed to do it. But how did you enjoy that game?
It was a little bit of a slow start, but it got good towards the end.
Yeah, for you, because you were up in the goal score. But I tell you what, it was a hard-fought match, and I really enjoyed watching it because I can see you're huffing and puffing, and all the girls are.
I'm a little bit sick, so that's why.
Okay. Before I get into Sarah and crucify her for not fixing up your water bottle holder, can you tell me what games you have left for the day?
No games.
That's it for you?
Yeah, that's all our round robin's done.
Okay, so tomorrow's finals. Are you looking forward to the final matches?
Yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm really excited.
Okay, any shout-outs for your supporters there or anyone back home before I bring Sarah in here and ask her the question?
Shout out to Agus and Eva and my family, my biggest fans. Love you guys.
Okay, thank you for joining. Sarah, come in here quickly because Stuart and I are extremely disappointed by the water bottle holder. What happened this morning?
Okay, I'll let you know it is a work in process. So, it's on its way. It's just not quite there yet.
Okay, well, I'll sort of let you off. Thank you for joining in and fixing that. Sorry to call you out, but hey, you made a promise to us, and we were calling you out on that one. Okay. Hi, thank you for joining. Forgotten.
So good.
Samantha, thank you for joining us. Hard match in there for you today.
It was very hard to keep up with them as well. They're very fast.
Yeah, they were. You had them on the run in the second half. You had it up in their half for the majority of the game. You just let your guard down a little bit. What are the coach's words that were coming in for you?
Just stay on the bottom and try and whip it around and come back through to the goal tray.
Yeah, there's something we noticed that you're sort of hesitating on the whipping around. So there's something you probably could work on a little bit more. What was the team morale like today for today's game?
They all kind of just wanted to stay on the bottom and try and get a goal. That's all.
Yeah. No, we saw a lot of good action in there. Well done to the girls. Hey, what are you guys doing about your? I see you got a good water bottle holder. Are you happy with that one?
We are. We're very happy.
But it's nowhere near anything inflatable. It's just sort of surrounded.
No, we've just got a pool noodle wrapped around it. Yeah.
Okay, I know you're not from Hobart. You're from West Australia?
Yes, I'm from Bunbury, WA.
Any words you want to say to the folks back home who were watching? There were a lot of comments coming in from the Bunbury Go Girls and all that. A lot of support. Any words you want to pass on to them?
Just keep watching and keep encouraging us, yeah.
Are you enjoying yourself at this comp?
I am. It's very fun. Good experience.
Okay, well, pass our commiserations on to the girls, but we look forward, and we always like watching you girls play. Very exciting hockey. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, enjoy. That's me from the deck. We'll move on to the next one. I'm sure I'm out of time, but thanks, Harry.